I'm curious, can you spend a minute and just kind of share what it's been like, yeah, a little bit more on the differences between being an enterprise rep at a company that's fully in flight versus being that first AE for your own company?
Yeah, yeah. I think the the biggest difference is that you are running a huge amount of experiments in your sales motion, and really trying new things, new channels, new even new kind of closing strategies. Whereas in a repeatable motion, those strategies are very much set. So it's really that experimentation, I think, has been the biggest change. And honestly, that's why I changed, made the change, and kind of I can talk more about how I ended up in the position that I'm in with the co-founders of Topline. But it's something that I wanted, and I was craving that. Excuse me, I was craving that kind of more flexible, creative role, but I didn't want to get away from obviously my core skill set, which is listening, building relationships with customers, deeply understanding their problems, and then having obviously needing to have a great product to and service to sell them. But it's what I enjoy day to day, and so obviously the learning, not just the kind of soft skills of active listening and building relationships and rapport, but also the kind of deeper sales skills about running a sales process, and having processes to understand actual buyer behavior has been obviously super useful. And I feel like because of that, we're kind of ahead of the game in kind of the depth of our sales process and our ability to scale it. So I'm really excited about where we are on the team so far.
That's awesome. I feel like I had kind of a similar experience. I feel like the things that made me a terrible employee made me a great kind of first salesperson at my own company. Because the things that made me a terrible employee is I would question everything. And I wanted to understand how and why everything worked, every little process. And I worked for like mostly small companies, but one really, really large company. They were great. For the size, they had an incredible sales force and yada, yada, yada. But as a human working for that org, I hated it. Because I'm like, I'm going through 7 different layers to understand why this thing works. And like, nobody can give me a straight answer. And then I'm like, well, why can't we do it differently? And like, this way is the better way. And they're like, oh, well, we got to change this in the playbook and this and this and that. And so the questioning everything. And then like after 18 months, if I was just repeating the same playbook, I'd be getting bored. And so I think the thing that I loved that served me really well is that I get bored really easily in the sales process. I didn't want to do the same thing over and over again, which kind of means I'm naturally a little bit more, I don't know, likely to test and iterate and always trying to find that next thing. I'm like a great first rep and a terrible 100th rep.